So that's why I'm here. We don't. This doesn't need to go down because of a little thing. I think it probably started as something little, but now it's gotten bigger and bigger, and it's we need to get something resolved, some conclusion, because I don't want to live in an environment like this anymore. I don't know about Jackson, but I need something to come to head. So, that's why I'm here. So thanks for helping do this. Neither of us are terribly aggressive, but things have been getting weird. So, I think I don't know. I started to feel affronted when Jackson left me a note. Okay, so I was late for rent like 2 days. All right, just 2 days. We're friends. I mean, stuff happens. Excuse me. Sorry. And so then I get this note on the front door when I came home. It said, be a man, pay rent on time. And I was like, what? Extremely passive aggressive. And I don't really respond to that well. Thank you very much. So I think that's that's not where it started, but that's really where it's that's really where it got big. And then he's got an issue with, I think, with my girlfriend. I overheard him say something about Danny when he was on the phone with one of his friends once, and it doesn't seem like he's really there. Jackson's a friend of mine. I want him to appreciate the people I appreciate, but and then Danny doesn't want to come over because she feels like Jackson doesn't like her. So then it's this hostile environment, and then I'm never home because Danny doesn't want to be there, but Danny's important to me. And his pet iguana, I don't know how much you know about Jackson, but he's got a pet iguana named Jesus Shuttlesworth. And he lets it roam all over the place, and so then you find his messes all over the place as well. So that's definitely a little concerning. I stepped in one once as I was going to a job interview, like a pile of poo, I guess you could say. So anyway, it's just those little type of things where he's being inconsiderate around the house or to my girlfriend, but then he says, be a man, pay your rent on time. Where is the be a man part when you're letting Jesus Shuttlesworth poop everywhere? So that's part of my issue, just kind of with all that. And I'm not sure where it started either, And so do you not like Danny? Do you not like what? So I don't know. What's the problem?
Is that all right? All right? Let's. You're good. Are you done?
I mean, I'm done for now.
Okay.
I'm done for now.
All right. We're gonna let Jackson speak now. Jackson.
Right. Well, thank you, Mr. Duggins. Do you mind if I call you Nate?
I do not mind.
Well, Nate, here's what's going on my side. It really started off. I mean, like Andrew was saying, people used to know us as the former president. They used to call us Andrew Jackson. All right. They thought that we were as good as chocolate milk, but you know what? Things have started to separate now, and I really feel like it comes down to the fact that he just hasn't been considerate of, or he has been inconsiderate of my feelings. And it really started off, I would say, with the whole rent thing. As you may well know, I work at the Hunt Club. It's a local establishment here, and unfortunately, they don't pay me enough to keep the amount of money that we need in my bank account to pay the full amount of rent. And because it was late, I ended up having all these overdraft fees, and it cost me a lot of money. And so I just felt like, you know what, he really needed to know. And because we haven't been able to talk for a really long time, this was the only way I could communicate with him. He's never there. All I have is just me and Jesus Shuttlesworth. And it's really hard, all right? And the whole thing with his girlfriend, it really came down to, I more so just miss Andrew, I like it when we can sit around and watch a romantic comedy together. I like it when we can share a cup of hot cocoa. It's those types of things that I really, really miss. And, you know, I didn't want to bring this up, but the other thing that was bothering me is, you know, I took a shower the other day and found a bunch of long hair in it. And when I confronted Andrew about it and I said, hey, you need to tell Danny to clean this up, he was like, you know what? That's probably from your dog. And I can tell you, Captain Jean-Luc Picard does not take showers. So, I don't know.
I've seen him in there before.
I mean, you know what? Maybe he was just playing. But the whole story is that I just feel like we are at this position where we can't communicate. And that's where I'm at right now. And it hurts.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try to figure out what is actually going on here. I mean, the rent, the animals, the girlfriend. I mean, these just all kind of seem like symptoms. So, what are the actual issues here? I mean, what do you think are the underlying problems? And let's go one by one. And I'm actually going to write these down so we can have them out in the open. So we'll go back to Andrew. I mean, what do you feel is the problem that you're having with Jackson?
Well, first, I can't stand the passive aggressiveness. You know, the notes, the text, the snide remarks, the talking on the phone with Chase about how Danny's flip flops are here again. And they smell terrible. Things like that.
So you want him to be more direct? Is that?
Yeah, it's one of the things I don't like. Yeah, is the passive aggressiveness. So yes, I would like a more direct approach. He says be a man. Well, be a man and talk to me.
Nate, do you mind if I respond to this, or should I wait?
No, you can respond.
Nate, it's hard for me to be direct with somebody when they're never there. You know that one song that's like, you're never there, you're never there. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel. And so it's hard for me to talk to a door, is what it comes down to.
Would you care to respond to that?
I guess it's true. I'm not around a lot. But even in your communications, whether it's written or on a note, you could still try to be more direct as far as not the be a man, do your responsibilities, pay your bills on time or whatever. You just say, hey, I was really I had some overdraft fees because you didn't give me your rent check on time, things like that. So if you would just explain the situation to me in a more direct then I could have done it instead of kind of the underhanded snide remarks. Or if you just let me know that Danny's shoes smell, without making a snide remark about it, you say, hey, what's that smell? Some decency, some tact.
Well, Andrew, I hear where you're coming from, but last time that I told you that Danny's shoes smelled, you got in a whole hissy fit, and you went around throwing all my stuffed animals, and it took me forever to put them back on my bed,
I thought... sorry, Nate. I don't mean to laugh at you, Jackson, but did you hear what he just said? He said stuffed animals. He's a 28-year-old man.
All right. We said we weren't going to personally...
Sorry. I was just...
Guys?
Sorry.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, all right? So you're saying a lot of stuff here, but really it comes down to communication.
Yeah.
You want Jackson to be more direct, Andrew.
Yeah.
And Jackson, when you are direct, maybe Andrew doesn't respond the way you want him to. Is that a fair assessment of the situation? My question for you guys is, you've lived together for how long?
6 years now.
6 years.
Goodness
So it didn't always used to be like this, I'm assuming.
All right.
What happened?
I mean, I think Jesus Shuttlesworth was a beginner. The pets, because you've got your pets pretty. I'm not sure. I don't know what the cause is. I'm just thinking about changes that have happened in the house around the time that changes in our relationship started happening.
And I think it's this, you know, I found Jesus and he found Danny. And I think that's kind of what happened is, you know, we each had our two areas that we had our time taken up in, and that's when the communication started to go by the wayside.
Go south.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, this is all communication right now.
Mm.
Would you say let's? I'm gonna give you guys both the floor for a second. Andrew, we'll start with you again. If you could fix this, if you had a fix all for this, what would it be?
A fix-all for this.
Yeah. You want the old Jackson back. You want the roommate situation to be back to a pleasant point. How do you get there?
How or what does that look like? What is it?
Well,
I
think that
Because I'm not sure how.
What would it look like, and then we can talk about how we get there.
Okay. I guess what that would look like would be, you know, back like you said, kind of back to the old thing where me and Jackson would grill every Saturday and Sunday. You know, we'd go up to Horsetooth and do sledding on Wednesdays. Sorry, it's pretty emotional thinking about it. But, you know, that and also Jackson, you know, seeing Danny not just as this person who has smelly feet and loose hair in the shower, but also as you know, maybe as a sister to him. You know, because he's a brother to me, I'm a brother to him. Why can't he see Danny as a sister? You know, so that's why he'd embrace Danny as more of a sister figure. You know, be able to talk with both of us about things, and yeah, just and you know, let me know if he's having trouble. You know, if the hunt club's only giving you 3 shifts, you know, per week, then let me know that I didn't know the rent was that big of an issue. You know, so just let me know. I guess. I don't know. I guess it would be, getting back to the perfect picture. He accepts Danny, you know, in kind of a sisterly role. He has more, his pets. I don't mind Jesus Shuttleworth or Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I think they're both, they're fine. I like them. They're kind of, you know, they're nice additions to our little group, our little family. So I mind just that he keeps cleaned up, like responsibility. So. He treats Danny like a sister. He keeps his animals under control as much as he can. I mean, Jean-Luc Picard's a Chihuahua. You know, I get it. Like sometimes they have a high energy level, and sometimes you know they just can't be helped. So I get that. I understand what you have about animals. Maybe controlling that a little bit, and then enough with the sign. You know, posted signs and things like that. Just call me something. That's a perfect picture for me. How do we get to that point? Not sure. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of that's my perfect picture.
How does that align with yours, Jackson? if at all.
You know, Nate, I never once said or never once felt that Danny wasn't, you know, part of the family. But the bigger issue was I felt like it went from us being brothers to Andrew now having this girlfriend, and I went from being the brother to now just the distant friend. And I really wanted, you know, I missed that close time that we had together. And I feel like, you know, I went and got, you know, I rescued Jean-Luc Picard from this, you know, terrible situation that he was in, and that was my outlet, you know, for us to have that friendship. And when Andrew wasn't there, I could turn to Jean-Luc, and, you know, I could turn to Jesus, and it really, you know, that was there for me. And I just don't feel like Andrew understood that, and it felt like he saw his and Danny's relationship as being superior to mine and Jean-Luc and Jesus. And so in a perfect world, you know, I would just want him to see that and respect that and know that, you know, I'd want him to make a better effort to get back to those days you know, when we were going sledding on Wednesdays, you know? It's that type of stuff that I want. And, you know, I also want, I want to make sure that, you know, we have something in place so that if I am direct with him, that he's going to respond in a way that is constructive and that, you know, we can move forward with, you know? Like the other day, the Pepto-Bismol was down to the very last spoonful. And, you know, he went ahead and just left it with only a tiny bit in there. And through my thought process, I was like, you know what? I could say something, but I feel like it's going to drive our relationship even further apart. And I didn't want that. Because I love you, man. You know?
I love you too, dude.
All right. Well, I mean, right there, that is a pretty good example of we should be able to get to a solution to this. You guys have lived together for 6 years. You probably know each other better than anybody else knows you. You know how how each other's going to respond, and somehow over the course of this, you know, with you getting a girlfriend and you and your pets, which you obviously value their relationship a lot, there seems to have been this distance, and the communication is just not being received like it used to be. Is that something that you feel is fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you communicate with each other and not go at each other's throats when something is wrong? I mean, why are you not able to say, hey, Andrew, you know, we were out of Pepto-Bismol, just throw it away and I'll get some more, or, you know, could you please get Danny's hair out of or whose ever hair it was, out of the shower? I mean, why can't you guys do that anymore?
I think it is that disconnect where, you know, we've gotten into this path of we're just bitter at each other all the time. And, you know, it would be easier to say, Andrew, the Pepto-Bismol, you know, but there's just that fear of, well, what happens when I say that? He's going to blow up, you know? And so it's more so like, well, I could do this, but the easier way is to not do it.
So you've gotten to a point where you're not saying stuff to each other, which is actually worsening the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate, I'm not a coward, all right? And I don't think Jackson is. It's just at that uncomfortable spot, you know, to where I don't want to bring up something to him and then, you know, him make some snide remark about it. Or so, you know, like something like that. So it's, you know, I'm not a coward. It's just I don't want to.
Do you feel it's easier to not say anything?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think it's possible that you guys could come to an agreement after living together for 6 years of being open with each other? I mean, I would feel you guys have probably shared a lot in 6 years of living with each other that, you know, something is, you know, when you look at the grand scheme of things, something as trivial as, I don't know, getting more Pepto-Bismol or whatever it is, should be openly able to be said. I mean, is that something you guys think you can get back to?
Probably, but I mean, and you have to think that the time where we connected the most, the time period that we did, is a time gone past. You know, it was when we were out at the bars till 3 every night. You know, dropping $1,500 on trip to Vegas, or you know, just you know, when we did sleddings on Wednesdays and Chick-fil-A Fridays. You know, it was those are the times, but those are times past. You know, Jackson said he found Jesus. I found Danny. We're not out there hustling, selling our wares for goods anymore. We're bona fide. You know, he works at the Hunt Club. I work down at Chick-fil-A.
God, I love Chick-fil-A.
So times have changed. It's not like they used to be.
Yeah, I mean
and that adjustment is hard.
I think that's dead on. I used to love how on Mondays you know, we'd go and buy new underwear. And that was our thing. Walmart, new underwear Monday. And
Because we
that
lost them on the weekend.
that was something I loved.
That was a good job.
You know? But he's right. It was times gone past. And it, you know, I want to get back to it, but I just kind of wonder if, you know, like the natural way of life, kind of like, you know how we used to every Thursday watch Lion King?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the circle of life. It's kind of what I'm wondering. You
But
know?
even back in the day, you still communicated with each other.
We did.
We
Yeah, we
did.
did.
I'm assuming.
The bunk beds that we had, they had the string with the can on the end, so we didn't have to yell and wake up our roommates. You know, we could just talk into the can, and I'd say, "Hey, buddy, I love you." Yeah,
So
and then he'd respond, "Hey, buddy, I love you too."
And do you think that by you getting your pets and by you getting Danny, that has changed it?
I think it's just kind of like what we were saying, growing up mixed with Jesus, Jean-Luc, and Danny. You know, I think that perfect storm right there
Yeah.
just kind of brought all of it. So maybe we were in the process of growing up, and then we found Jesus and Danny, and then that's kind of, maybe that was a catalyst. Maybe it was always brewing with this growing up thing, but maybe we don't know how to handle growing up or something. I don't know, but it's just not, you know. Yeah, we had bunk beds. We did that and all that, but we're not at that point anymore, you know. And he has his own room, I have my own room, but we still both put our pants on like at the time, but you know, we're different people, you know. And when we used to communicate back then, it was on a more, I guess, not mature level. You know, when we communicate, it wasn't, yeah, we tell each other we loved each other, and you know, we'd hug and rub each other's backs and stuff, but it was, you know, it was still kind of that boyish summer camp best friend type of thing, where now, you know,
It's more like adulthood.
Exactly. He's a responsible pet owner. I'm trying to be, you know, the breadwinner. You know, Danny only is at the Piggly Wiggly 4 shifts a week. So I really have to bring it home with that Chick-fil-A. So that's made me feel a lot more responsible, even though I did miss my rent.
So, because your life's responsibilities have increased, you feel that you can't communicate anymore?
It's just harder because of all of it. And, you know, like we've been saying, with those other things, we've just kind of been growing apart, talking to other people. You know, he runs, when he's having a great time, he's going to go, you know, with Jean-Luc Picard and go celebrate, you know, and I'll do the same with Danny. I don't know.
And, you know, I think that what it comes down to is, with all the new things that we have going on in our lives, it's created this new stress level. And because we, in the past, have been so comfortable with each other, that, you know, we are able to, or we feel like we can put that to the wayside and be like, well, I'm having a stressful day at work. I can go be a mean person to Andrew because, you know what, we're comfortable. We'll get over it, whatever. But I think that that's happened so many times that now we just, you know, we're at the crossroads, just like, you know, Bone Thugs and Harmony said.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'll meet you there.
Do you think we can leave this room, or leave here today with coming up with a way that you guys can stay roommates? I mean, you guys have been together 6 years. You've probably shared a lot. Yeah, you guys are getting older. The responsibilities are more. The life stresses are more. But I think what this all comes down to is communication. You guys have almost become scared to communicate with each other. And I think that if you felt that if you just opened up and were honest, that things would get better. Do you feel that way? Do you think that that's the issue? Is you're just not communicating like you used to?
I think if we can find, if we both acknowledge that we need to communicate better, then I think we can do it. I think we can start down that road to reconciliation, you know, and start down that road of being successful roommates.
And talking.
Well, you have been successful roommates.
Right.
Being successful
For
roommates again.
5.5 years, maybe.
Right. And maybe, and just talking through this has made me think about, you know, maybe we should start setting aside time for, you know, Lion King Thursdays again, or something like that, because, you know, we don't, kind of what I'm hearing as well is that we haven't set aside time for each other in a long time, you know,
Yeah.
You're always playing that World of Warcraft game, you know, and when I do have free time, I'm reading some fantasy book, so just getting caught up in our own little world.
Do you think that's something you can do? You can set aside time to do whatever, to do stuff you used to do, or acknowledge that you need to be more open with each other because you haven't been, and that's probably why we're here today.
I think so.
I think we could do that.
Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, I mean, those, like you said, those are some of the best times of our lives.
Right.
We should definitely do that, and then maybe it'll make it a little easier to talk about some of the problems we have, and you know, with Jesus's poop and stuff.
I think you need to acknowledge as well that it's not like it used to be. You know, you're not, you know, in college anymore, and this, like you said, you're growing up, you're doing other things. So I think that if you talk about that and what that's causing and be more open and set aside time to do whatever you guys want to do together, I think we can avoid talking to me in the future, which is obviously what everybody, if you don't want to see me twice, so we can avoid doing that. Do you think that that's something you guys can do?
Yeah, I mean, we could try it.
Okay.
I think that's where we can start. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think just even meeting right here was pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
there's
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write up this agreement. I'm going to have you guys look it over. If you're cool with it, you can sign it. You can go on your merry way. I think a contingency plan should be if things do get to a boiling point again, or if you see it getting to that point, you guys need to call me and get back in here right away, so we don't let it build up to the point that it is built up to right now.
Do you want us to keep you updated on the progress?
I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know.
Email, phone call, text, tweet,
Email.
Page.
Email or call.
page.
Email or call. Yeah, page.
Okay. Well, and I mean, Nate, you seem. I know that you know you're at least a couple decades older than us. But if you're in the mood for a Lion King Thursday,
I appreciate
it'd
that.
be good to have a conflict manager sometimes.
I appreciate that. You guys, I'll let you guys hash out your own problems first. All right. All right. Thanks, guys.
Deal.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
No problem.